As much as I would like to take credit for this quote that I'm about to quote, I can't, because it isn't mine, but it's extremely relevant and justifies the creation of 50 under 40. And it reads, "Nobody will ever deprive the American people of the right to vote except the American people themselves. And the only way that they can do this is by not voting." Let that settle. No one can deprive us from the right to vote except ourselves. And the only way that we can do this is by not voting. Next slide. 50 under 40, hashtag FUF. Okay? This is 50 under 40. For those of you who are over 40, I need you to step up your technology game. Hashtag FUF. Okay? Hashtag FUF operates as a subcommittee to the Community Democratic Club. Y'all stop laughing. We serious about this. Hashtag FUF. That's our name. That's our identity. The FUF's mission is to increase community awareness in 3 areas. In the area of voting, in the area of voter education, and voter registration to residents, first in Vallejo, because this is our backyard, and then in Solano County, between the ages of 18 and 40. Let me inform you of something. I'm a student, love to read, and there was this Vallejo Economic Trend report that just came out, the most recent report, and you know what it says? It shows that about 36% of our city's population are between the ages of 18 and 40. 36%. So oftentimes we hear that there's nothing for us to do in Vallejo. Oftentimes we have left Vallejo and came back kicking and screaming. We didn't want to. Tiffany said Mr. Jones put her in the headlock to bring her back. Yet, we don't do anything about it. We hold 37% of the power in the city. That's a third of the city. And we're not leveraging our power? This is the justification for the creation of 50 under 40. Next slide. So our vision for hashtag FUF is to use mainstream technology. If you're over 50, you're probably not using mainstream technology. You probably just got introduced to Facebook while we do Instagram. We still love you. We still love you now. So we want to leverage mainstream technology, social media, and collaboration with our other democratic organizations or other organizations within the community. How many have heard the term that it takes a village to raise a child? Yes. Everyone? Yes. Well, let me be the black sheep and the rebel in the group, because that's an inaccurate statement. If the village isn't functioning, we can't raise the child. So it takes a functioning village to raise a child. And we are all representations of the various functions of our hands that make up a high-performing village. So we're going to leverage all of our outlets, mainstream social media, mainstream technology, collaboratives with democratic organizations, or just, take the risk to broaden that to say, or community-based organizations in their entirety, irrespective of what tag you claim, because we're all a part of the functioning village. So to educate our voters between the ages of 18 and 40 in the city of Vallejo first, and then in Solano County, and the ultimate outcome or impact of hashtag FUF is to increase the number of eligible and registered voters, as well as membership into the Community Democratic Club. We're going to use this as a teachable moment. Please put your phones on vibrate.
Check.
Next slide.
Let me check.
Our message is the promotion of voter education. I'm going to test you guys. How many of you all have heard the term that knowledge is power? Oh, I love being the rebel in the room because they lied. If you don't apply the knowledge, there is no power. So applied knowledge is power. Next slide. So, the 50 under 40 campaign has been divided into 3 platforms. And we're going to give you the introduction to our platform: voter registration, education and literacy, and engagement and retention. First slide, next slide. The voter registration platform is designed with a specific intent to create strategic outreach, communication channels, and educational outlets to our registered and unregistered voters. Now that platform has been broken into 4 pillars. The first pillar you'll see is register to vote, an outreach presentation. So the voter registration subcommittee are actively creating an outreach presentation that we will present to the various educational outlets, communication channels, excuse me, and our strategic outreach mechanisms that are in design now. The second piece, register to vote street team. We have a wide range of community-based initiatives, festivals, Juneteenth, 4th of July, Pirate Festival. We've got the Solano County Fair, are these outlets by which we can begin to target registered and unregistered voters between the ages of 18 and 40. Our street team, and we named it a street team on purpose because we are literally taking this information to the streets. Okay? So if an unregistered voter who is uneducated, who has never heard of Community Democratic Club, or is ravished by what they're seeing on television in terms of the political climate, they ain't coming up in here. We have to go to them and educate them, hence the creation of the street team. The third pillar is social media. We're just gonna go right past that, social media. And then the community collaboration. This is an example of a community collaborative. With Club Strive and Pastor Rhonda Renfro allowing the Community Democratic Club and the 50 under 40 to partner with her to use her space so that we can broadcast the message. They are a youth empowerment organization, so their target captive audience are youth, 18 to 40. So it's a natural connection for us to use the community-based organization as an outlet for education. Next slide. Second pillar, second platform within the 50 under 40 campaign is our education and literacy. This is extremely important because we can provide knowledge, but if the knowledge is not applied, it's just words, letters, hashtags, hyphens, commas, periods, and exclamation points. The goal of the education and literacy platform is designed to provide our targeted audience with a comprehensive explanation of the importance of voting. As a result of working with this targeted age group, we often find the answers, the feedback from the group is, why should I vote? My vote doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. People are going to do what people are going to do, whether I vote or not. I don't even know the person who's running for office. What the heck is he going to do for me or my family? They don't see the direct connection between voting and the impact of their family, their community, their city, their state, and so forth. So we want to provide comprehensive how-to. Everybody know that how-to for dummies series of how-to on the importance of voting, ballot literacy, upcoming election, voter eligibility. Next slide. These are some of the comprehensive explanations that we will be providing in our community outreach strategies to those targeted populations, to our targeted group between the ages of 18 and 40. Why should you vote? You really should vote. There are people who've given their lives for some of us to have the right to have our voice heard in the democratic process, and we still don't do it. So as a son, if my mother gave her life for me to be able to vote, you better believe I'm gonna vote. Okay? So there is an importance in voting. Keeping in mind, we are 36 to 37% of our city's population. That means we hold the power to change the course in the direction that our city is headed in, and we don't even use it. If you're one of those, and I hope none of you are in this room, keep your mouth shut because I don't want to hear you complain if you don't leverage your power. Basic voter education, basic voter information, upcoming elections. Is there only the presidential election that's happening right now? No. But I guarantee you when our street team mobilizes, the only thing that people are going to talk about is the presidential election and the foolery that's going on all these national unsyndicated talk shows. But there's more to it than that. When do you vote? What is the voting time? What is the voting timeline? There's a timeline to vote, yes. Are there different types of elections? Yes, there are. Many more than just the presidential election. There's elections that impact our way of quality of life here in Vallejo, in Solano County, that we can begin to mobilize ourselves around. Next slide. This is good. Another component of our education and literacy platform are voter eligibility, ballot literacy. Now let's focus on the voter eligibility column for a second. Who can vote? Basic information. Who can't vote? Now, working within the criminal justice system and working within the education system, it's often heard that if you have a felony or you are on active probation, you can't vote. That's not the truth. If you have a felony and you are on active supervision, post-release community supervision is the technical term, you can vote. If you are homeless, one says, I don't have an address by which I can place in my registration card, so I can't vote. Another falsity. And this is our responsibility as 50 under 40 to educate those in our communities. Because if you can list a cross-street intersection as to where your homeless camp is camped out at, that's your address. And you can vote. If you're on parole, can you vote? No. Not while you are actively on parole, you can't vote. However, what you can do is you can multiply yourself times 5. So if you can't vote, recruit 5 of your family members or your friends that can vote, and that is how you can leverage your power through those who can vote until you get off paperwork. What is a ballot? Some people don't even know how to spell a ballot. How do you read a ballot? How do you complete a ballot? What is an absentee ballot? Is there such thing as an absentee ballot? Yes, there is. And we want to educate those who are within our targeted age range on the various components of voting, ballot, literacy, and so forth. Next slide, please. This is the fun one. Education and retention. The platform for education and retention is to keep voters engaged both during and then after the election. Let me take about 45 seconds to emphasize the importance of engagement and retention. So oftentimes we feel that political figures leverage us for our vote, but we don't feel as though there's any return on the investment of the vote. So retaining those who are 50 under 40 is a mechanism that we will leverage to ensure that those that we place in the office are doing what they said they're going to do. Because just as we voted them in, vote them out. If they are speaking in our communities and they're promising and they're assuring, and we're community forums and open discussions and panel conversations about what directly impacts our community directly, and then they assure that they can meet these needs if we place them in office, and we place them in office, who's going to hold them accountable? The same ones that put them in office. So we want to retain the strength in our movement. We will not allow our vote to be leveraged and there be no accountability. It don't work that way. Not here. I must have said something. Amen. I gotta do that. Jesus. Hallelujah. Okay. Next slide. How are we going to keep you engaged? So this is 50 under 40. So we're not doing soul train lines. Okay? See, 60-year-olds clap their hands. Soul train. That was it. It was it. Okay? Candidate forums. That's how we will stay engaged. We have to create a sense of accountability for our public officials who call themselves the leaders of our communities. They have to answer our questions. And the only way they can answer our questions is if we mobilize ourselves in a very intelligent way and we craft inquiries by which we hold them accountable to provide a specific answer. Not this political browse over mumbo jumbo Talk to us because we want to talk back. Okay? So candidate forums. Elect potential candidates who are petitioning for our vote. Potential candidates who are petitioning for our votes. We will craft our lens and our perspective and look to see how they answer those questions, which should determine whether we vote for them or not. Elected official forums, self-explanatory, mainstream technology, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, IG, that's Instagram, over 50s. You got it? I am. It's not the new colloquialism for I'm. It's instant message. Okay? Texting and email. And then 50 under 40 social mixers. Now, I would love to say that if you're over 40, you may get an invitation, but we really don't want your energy in our social media. No, we don't want the bishoprics and the pastors and the ushers. No. This is not church. Okay? This is a social mixer of 50 under 40, so we can kind of, you know what I mean? Enjoy ourselves the way that we do. So no one can attract a young person like a young person. Okay? No one can engage with a young person like a young person. So we'll seek your wise counsel in the closed quarters of your offices privately. We may even give you a little credit for your feedback, but that's where that stops. Okay? And so we're going to hold these social mixers. And these are going to serve multiple purposes. 18-year-olds to 40-year-olds say, man, there's nothing positive, vibrant for us to do. This answers that question. But it's an event of substance. Okay? This is an event of intelligent minds meeting, willing bodies collaborating, strong and able minds mobilizing, educating ourselves, because we are the now generation. And so if we don't mobilize ourselves, and we don't take accountability and hold the power that is rightfully ours and then leverage it, what are we doing? Next slide. If you have felt motivated, if you are a registered voter, amen for you. But you know someone in your immediate circle who's not registered, who does not know what a ballot is, who may have a difficulty spelling ballot, who is not educated, who's being mesmerized by what they see on television, which is a falsity. That's not reality. This is reality. Community, education, empowerment, mobilization, 50 under 40. That's community. And so if you've been encouraged, empowered, you want to learn more, join us today, because it's a movement going on. Those of you guys who are 55, 60, civil rights movements that started with us. All movements that have been written about in history were launched, fueled, and furthered by us. This is no different. And they didn't start with the big group. You see our committee? We 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 deep. But that's all it takes to create a ripple, which then starts a wave and then a tsunami. So if you're empowered and you're excited, join us today. Don't get left behind, because we are moving forward. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time.